readiness is not just about meeting deadlines, but also about building trust among all stakeholders. We have only 5 days to the elections, where people think that, where a section of the public think that what the EC is doing is a way to inspire confidence. They are being transparent. Others believe that this has gone to show that the EC is lax with their work and are not up to the task. Is that so? Let's have some conversations. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre is a political analyst at the University of Cape Coast, and Paul Abrampa is a programs manager in charge of security and in charge of security sector governance at CDD Ghana. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen.
Morning.
Yes, so Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre, we've had some conversations with you ahead of the elections. With all that is happening now, coming from you as a political analyst, would you say that the EC is inspiring confidence, as some people say, or would you side with those who believe that what is happening at the moment is sending a strong signal that the EC is not up to task?
Well, let me say good morning to yourself and to your viewers. Elections are, the conduct of elections is supposed to be construed as a security, it's supposed to be construed as having security implications, because it determines the stability or otherwise of every democracy. Therefore, as a nation, we ought to get it right to ensure that nothing untoward happens. I have said that elections can be won in two ways. One, the mandate of the people. Two, technicalities. When you have the mandate of the people giving you, and you have technicalities on the other side, then obviously the mandate can easily be swindled or can be taken away from you. So these are the two possibilities, and things of that nature are part of the technicalities. Now, to what end would one suggest that the EC is up to something, or they are not up to the task? It's a difficult thing to say. But I always tell my students that it's always better when you have to answer questions in class, get them wrong, and then get it right during the examination period. That is the best way to go. And so, for now, on one way, it shows that the EC has not been efficient. They have been reckless sometimes, and I think that is what has not inspired that kind of confidence. But to have a company that has been with the EC since 1992 or so, to be embroiled in something of that nature, it's interesting. But I will equally want to hear from the company how that would have happened, and how, and unfortunately they may not speak, so you may not be able to get the other side of the story. Perhaps when the elections are over, they may speak for us to know whether there is a big brother hand, a long arm, that has created that particular problem for that particular company. Because, believe you me, that is not just merely the withdrawal of these ballots. It is definitely going to dent the image in a long term of this particular company. And that could, in a long way, affect the workers, management, and everybody else, because this is supposed to be a task that is national in nature. And all these security features, and we are told by the national security that through the EC, that something of that sort got leaked. Well, who might have done that? No, but the calamitous effect would have come onto the company. The state is probably going to bear some cost. But the other side too is that it is good that the EC will want to get it right at the end of the day, before the elections. And so if something of that sort, with all its implications, will go a long way to ensure that the security features the stability of our democracy, the integrity of the results, are well in order, then I think that I would rather err on the side of the EC than anything else.
Okay. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Ocho rather err on the side of the EC. Mr. Paula Bampa, hello, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. With all of these developments, from where you stand as CDD, what do you make of it?
Yes, thank you very much. And let me say good morning to my colleague on the other side of the phone. Yes, he's laid the foundation. After going through successive elections over the years under the Fourth Republic, all elections, we've witnessed all sorts of elections under this administration, dispensation, including even a referendum. So one would expect that we have perfected on some of these things that we do. So some of these minor challenges could have been averted. But don't also let us forget that we are dealing with the human institution and also dealing with machines. My reading into the press release, statement yesterday by EC, is not actual fault of printing the ballot, but fading that the ballot papers printed are not seen clearly, and therefore they need to be discarded and reprinted. There are two things here. One, yes, as human institutions, you seek for the ability for us to detect the fault itself and to find solutions in time, in real time, is important. And two, it also tells us that the Electoral Commission, as my colleague had just said, has improved on its checks and balances, and therefore seek to produce quality work. And that's why sometimes some of these things are detected. I've been part of the elections over the years, and some of these minor problems have always been there. It may not be the same thing like fading of ballot papers or some serial numbers are missing or have been repeated as we recorded in the earlier statements ahead of this. But they are not announced. The Electoral Commission on its own will sit in office and correct them. What is different between now and then is that now, because of the resolve of the Commission to provide every bit of information of its processes to stakeholders, that's why sometimes we are hearing some of these things. It does not mean that in previous processes there were no minor mistakes. There were, but the Electoral Commission never announced it publicly because it thought it could deal with it itself. But we have gotten to a point that every bit of information is important, so as clear propaganda, so as to clear misinformation, and also to carry the stakeholders along. So I believe, yes, we need improvements, as election itself is part of democracy and it's the first pillar of democracy. When we make a step, we expect that we improve. That notwithstanding, if there are challenges, we should be able to resolve the challenges so that we move ahead.
Okay. The EC is carrying stakeholders along by being clear with them and transparent with them about the issues that have developed.
Sure, exactly so. Now, you remember the EC started in 2016. It couldn't perfect that, and since then, they have been part of it. In 2020, they instituted Let the Public Know. So every month or week, the issue or meet the press and lay out very important developments that have been recorded on the electoral process or public activities that they intend to roll out, so that at any point in time they carry not only the major stakeholders like the political parties, but also ordinary person gets to know what is happening. Now, this information that we are discussing, when you go to the EC website, it's there, it's uploaded there, that everybody can read. So it's an improvement on that lend credence to transparency, that lend credence to cooperation and coordination, that lend credence to having faith in the stakeholders. Because don't forget, you, the media guys, will say, or information experts will say, lack of information breeds suspicion and propaganda. So I believe, yes, we don't encourage some of these mistakes, as my colleague said, that because it creates room for mistrust. It creates room for propaganda. It leads to people trying to criticize the system. So we don't need that. But as soon as they come, we need to make them clear that so that people are able to understand what happens, how they are being solved, and what will be the end.
Thank you. Dr. Asante-Okyere, with this development, could it influence delay in voter turnout in these regions?
Well, I am not too sure that will be the case. It is just a matter of communication. It is just that it may create some discomfort along the line. I know my brother, who is a police officer, was readying himself as of yesterday to go and vote. That is today, but this is definitely, an unfortunate incident. But as I said earlier on, it is to ensure that as a nation we get it right. But the inefficiencies of the ECs, are becoming one too many, and as a nation we need to criticize them for that. I think that there is that lack of coordination at the center, and it appears that I'm getting some kind of information that indicates that, the hierarchy, I mean the EC boss herself, is not in constant communication with those that vote. It may be, something from the grapevine. It may also be some kind of truism. And I think if that is the case, then it is very, very unhealthy for our democracy. A similar thing happened in the previous era. That is what led to their removal, because there was that lack of trust, and communication was becoming, something of a problem. I believe that we are dealing with special voters or special voting, and the numbers are not that too much. They should not discourage them from going to vote. I think Thursday is not too far. They should be able to get their lines and ensure that they go and vote when the time is due.
With this development, how might it shape the narratives around the credibility and the preparedness of the Electoral Commission?
As for the propaganda against them, it is not going to stop, because they have not demonstrated that kind of readiness along the line. The errors are becoming one too many, and definitely as I said earlier on, you are creating a kind of environment that people will be so suspicious of your activities, because using my cynical eye to look at this particular incident. And it is coming from, according to EC, the national security. National security. This national security, are they really national in character, or they are partisan in character? It is a question that we may have to ask, because of the consistent errors that our EC, has been making along the line. And then here is the case. These two particular regions, Western and Eastern, well, it is very difficult to probe the issue from that perspective, if you ask me. It is equally not too far if you also look at it from a cynical point of view. So I just hope for the best and believe that we'll still get there. That's why I said that with my students, I tell them, get the answers wrong in class as a way of answering the question, but make sure you get it right when it comes to the examination period.
Wow.
And so I believe sincerely that they should be able to do that come the Thursday and then the 7th of December.
Okay.
I may have to, okay.
You may have to leave us. Is that what you're saying, Dr. Asante-Okyere?
Yes, because I had to squeeze my time for respect of your viewers and your good self.
We're most grateful. Then, before you leave, let's take your final thoughts on this conversation on the EC.
Well, I think they have to get their act together. We cannot afford to jeopardize our democracy come 7th of December. This is just for special voting, and the number is not that huge. And it involves, those who are going to provide essential services during the 7th of December. And so, it is better late than never. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because the conspiracy theories that are being drawn out there will leave much to be desired as far as the image of the EC is concerned. Lately, they have tried to become transparent. Some of these things they have been able to meet the press, meet IPAC, in the eye of the public, and they've solved some of these problems. I want to still think that this time around, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But they should bear in mind that our democracy is at stake. And anything that they do that will create suspicion that they want to untwist, the citizenry and use technicalities against anyone or create advantage for anyone, that will not be tolerated. And I think that is a message that they should drive home with.
Okay. We're most grateful for your time this morning, Dr. Otway.
You're welcome.
Dr. Jonathan Asante Otway is a political analyst at the University of Cape Coast. He says at the moment he will give the EC the benefit of the doubt, but the EC should not look at using technicalities to arm twist anybody in these elections. We're still speaking on the EC, conversations on the EC. Paula Brampa, who is the programs manager in charge of security sector governance at the CDD Ghana, is still with us. Mr. Paula Brampa, thank you for your time again.
You're welcome, my sister.
Has the EC done enough to build trust in the Ghanaian people?
More than enough. More than enough. And my last chat with you, interview with you, I started giving example from what we experienced in 2020, where the NDC boycotted IPAC, and also where the EC was a bit recalcitrant and was not prepared to bend its ways to accommodate some of the requests and demands by political parties. Now you can see a change from the registration exercise up to this part. One, when the EC proposed to use the Ghana card as the sole identity for registration, and the political parties protested, the EC quickly withdrew and used the OCI that allowed a guarantor system to be part of it. When the EC proposed to do registration at his district offices and the political parties protested, they quickly added mobile registration to cater for some of the arguments the political parties made that people will be coming from remote areas and they may not have the funds to attend. When the National Peace Council started bringing the EC and the NDC together to try and solve the problem, to bring NDC back to the table, in 2020, 2021, the Electoral Commission said he has not seen anything, he has not done anything wrong, so they don't think there should be any mediation. But now they agreed, sat down together, and the NDC is back to IPAC. Recently, when the EC released the register, the NDC said it needs statistics of the breakdown. Otherwise, it will not collect the register. The EC quickly provided. So it tells you that the EC, now we see, have been more proactive and prepared to work together with stakeholders to see to it that the election goes on peacefully. As I said, we are in a human situation. We are not encouraging some of these mistakes. But when they do happen, the capability, and the ability for you to detect and resolve is also part of management and administration. So far as we are discouraging the repetition of it, we are also encouraging the EC that it should put its checks and balances in place so that when these things come, they are able to detect, resolve, and communicate so that people do not use them as propaganda, misinformation, and to disinform the public.
How would you assess our electoral process so far, from when we started registering to exhibition of voter register up until now? Today is special voting. In assessing the electoral process, how will you do that?
I wanted us to finish the elections and I did my full, but because you've asked, let me tell you that this year's election so far so good. We've witnessed very peaceful environment. When people who have not followed the elections before, when they see one or two attacks, one or two insults, they think the election is going back. Comparing the elections that we have so far under the Fourth Republic, so far, this has been the most peaceful one. 2020, by this time, we had recorded a death in Banda. We have recorded 4 pickup bands. We have recorded vandalization of party offices. Somebody's leg was in POP. There were so many things happening. Even the registration, pulling of gun by the MP and other things. This year, we've not had any deaths. We've not recorded some of these things. I'm praying. I was just speaking to my colleague, and I was saying that there are still 2 dangerous issues on our periods in our calendar, and if we are able to sail through those 2 periods and we don't record any issues, then we can say 2024 will be the most peaceful we have. I'm talking about the last rallies and the political party marches that they hold. If you can go back to our data, this is also another phase that when they are going for the campaign rallies and also the keep fit marches, that's where we also record fatalities, clashes. If we go through on the 6th of December, that they are all ending their rallies, and we don't record anything, then we'll have another hurdle to cross. And that will be the last phase of the polling, the counting, declaration of results, and jubilation. You remember in 2020, the counting is, the collation is where we lost 2 lives in Techiman. The jubilation is where we lost 2 lives in Odododio. So if we're able to sail through these phases, and we still have all our people, all our Ghanaians intact, then we can say this year's election, comparing the incidents that we recorded over the years, this will be a very peaceful elections. But for some of these 1 or 2 weeks, I think they are normal in human institutions. That's why I've said that we need to be able to have the capacity, the capability to detect and resolve, and also inform the public as to the causes of it.
Right. The EC says that it is working to declare results in 72 hours after the elections. With all of these developments that have cropped up, you say that it is a way to ensure or inspire transparency. However, with all of these developments, do you see the EC being able to declare results in 72 hours?
What incident are you talking about? Is it the reprinting and rescheduling of the voting?
Yes, all of the conversations that have cropped up that have a section of Ghanaians don't believe that.
In local government elections, we vote while some other electoral areas in Bono East and some of them here in, I think, Eastern vote differently because of some of these things. But we've had it smoothly. In previous elections, there were days that we voted, but some other constituencies voted a day before. So election is a process. The fact that you are not able to vote on Monday does not mean you will be denied your vote. Yes, there will be inconveniences, as my brother said, that he had a colleague who was prepared to go and vote today, and he got the announcement. So probably these inconveniences will be there. But that does not mean anybody will be disenfranchised. The key word is that, as the Constitution said, those who qualify to vote and are willing to vote should be provided the opportunity to vote. And that should be the key word for our communication. I don't think the EC will do anything to disenfranchise anybody. Some of these things are human institutions and they are bound to happen. And they need to be corrected and move ahead. So I don't see any major incidents here at all. What I think is what will generate the actual conflict. That's what I'm laying out, and that's what we should be watchful for.
So the 72 hours that EC is projecting to declare results, you think they are well within the time they will be able to do that?
There are 2 issues Kodio always say, that the Constitution asks the EC to be able to declare results in time, but it does not mandate the EC to do it 72 hours. However, in order to avoid anxiety and the long waiting period that sometimes come with speculations, propaganda, misinformation for people to act upon, you are in the country that some political parties mobilize their regional supporters to start a march at the EC offices because the day they thought the EC was manipulating the figures. To avoid some of these things, if the EC could do it within 72 hours, that would be better so that we don't experience some of these. However, the EC should not also rush to make mistakes. So they should balance trying to curtail people's anxiety and also getting it right.
Well, we are going into the elections, December 7. From where you stand, security sector governance at CDD, when you look at voter apathy in our country, do you find any indication that this year we will experience more voter apathy so that the turnout will be lower?
Well, the national elections, when I say national elections, presidential and parliamentary elections, have always crossed the 70% line. And when you read election theory, elections over 69 or from 70% has a high turnout. And therefore, unlike the local level elections that we have always record below 50% abysmal turnout, I don't think the national elections will go anything below the global acceptable standard of high turnout. However, looking at elections that have been held in Africa this year, one gets worried. For example, I was with the African Union in South Africa. South African elections has always beaten the 70% threshold, but this year it came below that. Botswana, the same thing. I learned Senegal today. I don't have the full detail, but I learned it's also the same thing. Then you start to ask yourself, is it a regional apathy based on some of the global challenges that we have, or just that people are getting fed up with elections? That's the Afrobarometer data says, that people are getting fed up with elites because they think their public interests are not taken into account when they vote for them. So if this regional trend is anything to measure, then we need to do more sensitization, more education to keep up public interest in the process and to go out and vote.
For many, this election is hinged on various factors, and they will vote on said factors. Earlier in the show this morning, we opened the phone lines and Ghanaians based their voting on some specific factors. From CDD again, from where you stand at CDD, these factors that people are talking about, the economy, free SHS, and employment and all, at this time in our electoral process, how come it has heightened the more that people want to now look at certain policies? We juxtapose that against voting based on party ideologies and realize that for a while now, people are not really paying attention to ideologies, but are rather moving to issue-based things to be able to make their decisions. Why do you think we have gotten to that part in our electoral process?
Yes and no. I think we discussed this in the last interactions we had on your same media. You see, in Ghana, we have the two big political parties, the NDC and the MPP, have established their voting constituencies. And when the NDC loses or when the MPP loses, it's hardly they will go beyond 40%. Those 40% constituencies, agent supporters for these two political parties, don't look at any procedure. They don't look at a process. They don't look at what you've done. They are blood and body for their parties. The NDC is for us. I was born into it. It's my party. So whether the NDC flops or not, you don't get more than 5% of them who will say we'll turn our back against our party. The same for the MPP. So these established voting constituencies for the parties don't look at what the data is telling us. However, these two constituencies don't win elections. Don't forget, Ghana elections is won with 50% plus at least one vote. So if we really want to win the election, then you need the undecided, you need the swing voters who consider about 20%. And these are the people who look into your performance, who look at what you've done, who look at the challenges of the economy, and who compare the policies to see which of them will favor them, should they vote for that candidate. So this is the analysis for whether or not the policies are there. When you do the survey, the 10 most items, Codio, that is, and Afrobarometer did its National Commission for Civic Education has been doing it over the years. And you have these issues: economy, employment, security, infrastructure, agriculture. They always come among the 10 preferable areas that citizens would like their incoming president to solve for them. But that works for about 20% of the undecided votes who look critically at your performance and your manifestos and what the candidates you have presented to see who will solve these issues for us. But for the assigned supporters who constitute about 40% voting constituency each for the two parties, I don't think they will look at these things.
All right. We're grateful for your time this morning, Mr. Paul Abrampa.
You're welcome, my sister.
Paul Abrampa is the programs manager in charge of security sector governance at CDD Ghana. We're having a conversation about the electoral Commission. For him, he believes the Electoral Commission has improved on its checks and balances. It is because of this improvement that they are holding more stakeholder engagements. We should not think that these issues have not cropped up before in previous elections. It is that this EC is more open to letting the Ghanaians understand what is happening. When we asked about the declaration of results, he said that, well, the EC should not rush in declaring results. They should make sure that it is well within time so that Ghanaians are not agitated because results have not been declared. We are speaking on this more, and we are joined by Dr. Frederick Odro, who is a governance expert on this issue about the Electoral Commission. Good morning, Dr. Odro. Thank you for your time.
I'm very good morning. I trust you're doing well.
I'm fine, thank you, sir. I hope you are also doing well.
I'm also good by God's grace.
You've been quite resolute on how vital it is for us to build trust in the Electoral Commission to effectively discharge the Electoral Commission's duty. Obviously, these incidents that have cropped up in these past weeks impact public trust in the Electoral Commission. Given how high the stakes are, how can this be achieved when these challenges keep resurfacing?
Okay. Again, first and foremost, we need to establish the fact that it isn't the Electoral Commission that prints the ballot papers. They contract security printers who undertake such ventures. And there has been challenges because of the numbers of the voter materials they need to print. They aren't able to rely on one or even two dedicated security printers. They have to bring on board several of them. And it is looking as if one particular printer is giving them problems. That is what is leading to this issue, as far as I'm aware. So I always want us to set the narrative right, in order not to put the blame on a different institution that is not responsible for it. The printing aspects of the electoral material are never done by the Electoral Commission. So that's the first point that I think we need to clarify. Then the second point to do with it is that it is better to identify a problem and resolve it rather than allow it to go on and try to hide it and create an impression everything is well. Then somebody will come out and say, oh, we found this, which rather leads to trying to hide things. Then we having a lack of transparency. So, in as much as I find it acceptable that we should get ourselves into this position, I don't think it will be fair to blame the Electoral Commission, where we know that throughout the process of the printing, there are national security involved. The parties are also involved. They all have their representatives at the various printing houses to monitor the printing process. So I think we shouldn't blame the Electoral Commission for whatever may have happened there.
If we are not blaming the Electoral Commission, in any case, the public out there have also built a certain mindset because of all that has happened. What will the EC do to impact on the public trust? Because the Ghanaian out there, because of all that is happening, the conversations going on has gotten a certain conception that the EC is not executing its duties well. They are the referees in this election. What could they do to better inform Ghanaians so that Ghanaians are more clearer in their head?
Okay. I think first and foremost, if we keep on lying about the issue, or if we fail to tell the truth about what goes on in our electoral process. That is why people who are fed with falsehood begin to follow wrong perceptions. Let us remember that perceptions are not always the reality. In the first place, there are systems in place for this election. We all know from the point of registration, if you want to register to vote, from the point that you go in to register, there are systems in place to involve party representatives. When you are going to vote, there are systems in place for party representatives. Every party agent going to a polling station is aware of every single.
Hello, Dr. Joe. Dr. Frederick Odro. Okay, we seem to have lost Dr. Joe. We will establish contact with him and have more conversation. But he says that with all that is happening, it is better to identify a problem and resolve it than to hide it. And that the EC is being transparent with stakeholders about what is happening. The issue is coming from a printing house which has representatives from all of the political parties there. So we shouldn't be blaming the EC about these issues. That is what Dr. Frederick Odro is saying on this conversation. We'll have more with him. Hello, Dr. Odro. We lost you at a point. Yes, I did.
So the point I'm making is that all the political parties are aware of the material going to the polling station. They know, they have the list of voters who have voted at each polling station. And it is the onus lie with the political party to also be vigilant. It is not only the EC that has got a responsibility. Yes, they are the management body, so they have the highest responsibility. But to bring about transparency and fairness, I think the political parties have been equipped, they've been empowered to challenge whatever is wrong there. There is a law in place, there are guidelines in place to guide how we conduct our elections. And I believe the political parties, if they do their work well, can collate and clean the results long before the electoral commission comes out to announce whoever is there. So I think let us be made public aware of the processes. And I think you and I have got a responsibility, particularly you as a journalist. You've got to know the reality and tell the public this is what goes on. It is not about defensive, this person says, this person says.
Dr. Joe, could you position yourself better so that we can hear you? There's some interference which is muffling your voice. Hello, Dr. Okay, we are unable to hear Dr. Drew clearly. When we'll try and establish contact again so that we can hear him better. But I said that the all news lies with the political parties to be vigilant during this process. But we're going to the polls, December 7. I believe you have made a decision on whom you're voting for, and on December 7 you will be at your various polling stations to cast your votes. Today, special voting is ongoing. It has commenced across the nation. The security agencies and others who are found within the special voting category are voting at the moment. The Eastern and Western regions will be voting on December 5, which is on Thursday, because of some issues that came up earlier yesterday. The EC addressed the various stakeholders at the IPAC meeting and explained to them why, and set the date for 5th of December, which is Thursday, for voters to vote. Earlier, Dr. Jonathan Asante said that he doesn't believe that it will influence voter turnout in these regions. It may only bother them because the inconvenience will be there. You have made your plans to vote today and then take care of other issues, but because it has been changed, you'll be inconvenienced a bit. However, this should not influence the voter turnout in the eastern and western regions. This is the conversation on the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission says that it is being transparent with Ghanaians so that we know what is happening. Maybe lends credence to what Paula Brampa said, that under the Fourth Republic, we should not think that what is happening at the moment is peculiar to Jean Mensah's EC. It has happened with various ECs. The only different thing is that this EC has decided to be more transparent with Ghanaians by bringing out what is happening, telling the various stakeholders, giving them updates of what is happening, just so that it builds trust and transparency with their stakeholders. But the other side of the question is that could there be an adverse effect to what the EC is doing, in as much as it is trying to build trust in the people, to be transparent with the people? Is it also giving some section of Ghanaians a certain idea or mindset that the EC is not up to task? It brings up various conversations depending on how you are looking at it or through which lens you are looking at the actions of the Electoral Commission. Paula Brampa said that if he will assess the electoral process so far, he will say that so far so good. These elections have been the most peaceful under the Fourth Republic, although we haven't even gotten into the elections proper. Juxtaposing it against 4 years ago, Paula Brampa said that by this time, 4 years ago, we had seen certain indications that there were going to be pockets of violence. So if we were juxtaposing it, he will say this year's elections have been better than 4 years ago, although we haven't even entered into the elections yet. But that's the conversation on the Electoral Commission. So far, the Electoral Commission has updated us on what is happening. Eastern and Western regions will be voting on December 5. That is the special voting. My colleague Andy Opon-Denchi is on grounds to bring us some live updates from the special voting. Hello, Andy. Good morning.
Hello, Abner.
Andy, where are you reporting from this morning?
Yeah, so Abner, I'm on my way currently to the Osu police station, but before that, I was at the prison's canteen where voting was on, and then basically voting started exactly at 7. And from the visuals that we are seeing on the screen at the prison's canteen, voting started at 7, and there are 4 centers here. So we have prisons canteen A, B, C, and D, and the expected number of voters to vote at this polling centers is 2,655. And as of 8 that I got there, for my information, 1,506 have voted as of the time that I got there from around 8 that I got there. But currently I'm on my way to the Osu police station to also find out how things are going. But basically at the grounds on the canteen polling station, the security is heavily represented, the police is there, and as there is a queue, you could also see that the queue is moving. It's not stagnant, if I may put it that way. So there's a long queue though, but people are not really standing the queue for a long time, and they vote as and when they finish, they come out, and before they even enter, they make sure they see the polling agent or the right people. They show their voters ID to them, and they go and join the line, and when they get to their turn and then they vote, then they come out of the premises. So basically at the prison's canteen police station, that is what I can report on. But as I said, I'm on my way going to the Osu police station to also give our viewers updates on the happenings there.
Right. Andy. We are looking forward to more updates from you today, and thank you for the update so far.
Yeah.
So that's Andy Opondinchi, my colleague. He is on his way to the Osu police station to bring us live updates from the voting there. He was at the prison's canteen, where he said some over 1,000 voters are expected to vote in today's special voting. Special voting is today all over the country. Those found in the category of special voters are voting ahead of the elections because they will be providing some essential services on the day of the election, December 7. The Eastern and Western regions will be voting on Thursday, 5th December. We're looking forward to that. But that's all for our conversation on the Electoral Commission and the voting today on ABC in the morning. Up next is what I know all of us enjoy, politics today. My colleague Samuel Nyimagbe is on hand to bring us some very comprehensive analysis into another constituency. He's been doing that for a couple of weeks now. We've been enjoying it. If you want more of this, you should also tune in when it is 4 p.m. for Constituency in Focus, where he looks at more constituencies than we do here on ABC in the morning. Politics today is up next with Samuel Nyimagbe.
December 7, all eyes will be on the nation, and ABC News Ghana Television will be your trusted election guide. Welcome to the Poll Center, where we bring you the most comprehensive 2024 general elections coverage.
At ABC News Ghana, we will deliver up-to-the-minute updates from across the 40,647 polling stations, ensuring that you stay informed every step of the way.
We'll bring you real-time updates from constituencies with the highest stakes and insight into the key battlegrounds.
Our team of political watchdogs, pollsters, and political scientists will break down the nuances in the swing regions, helping you understand the dynamics of these critical areas.
With correspondents and district reporters spread across the country, rest assured all the timely reports of turn of events as they unfold.
On the Poll Center, we'll bring you an excellent television experience with advanced graphic presentation that will give you a clear visual of the vote tallies, trends, and key turning points as they unfold live on screen.
ABC News Ghana will provide you with in-depth analysis of voter pattern shifts, regional shifts, and what the early results could mean for the final outcome of the elections.
From voting challenges to disputes over election results, ensuring our viewers understand the legal landscape.
On social media, we'll bring you live updates and key highlights from the polling stations, keeping you engaged and informed with the latest developments online.
From the streets
to the polling centers. We will capture the voices of everyday Ghanaians, hear their thoughts and concerns as they cast their ballots.
ABC News is committed to unbiased, accurate, and in-depth coverage. Join us on the Poll Center for the most reliable 2024 election coverage.
Stay tuned, stay informed, stay with the Poll Center right here on ABC News Ghana Television, your election guide to the poll. This is where the headlines are probed, policies scrutinized through an objective lens with an unbiased approach to every discussion. Key in to a series of pulsating conversations with the hard questions.
Why do you still want to run when you have failed? I haven't. What do you mean by failed?
In-depth analysis of policy proposals.
If it is a temporary program, why do we want to still create another gold reserve exchange program also to address a temporary issue?
If you introduce a temporary measure and you realize that the temporary measure works and is sustainable, you have to rethink whether or not it should just be temporary.
And every agenda and positions intellectually debated to set the record straight.
Look, you still don't answer the question now. Good. Question is, if Article 78(1) is anything to go by, your ministers of state largely are supposed to come from the parliament.
Yes.
The law says that not less than 10 and not more than 19. So these are your cabinet, your ministers of state you're going to get. How do you intend to resolve? Have you thought about managing that hurdle?
Absolutely. If I hadn't, I probably would not get on the fray to do this.
On Focus on ABC, we focus on the matter, the personality, and the answer beyond the rhetoric. Focus on ABC shows every Thursday at 7 p.m. only on ABC News Ghana Television.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kanisu.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with that.
Over the past 8 years, the NPP has significantly improved support for our most vulnerable citizens. From expanding school meal programs, enrolling 300,000 more people in the LEAP initiative, enhancing health care for expectant mothers, we've strengthened the fabric of our society. But our work isn't done. We are committed to further enhancing these programs and introducing new initiatives to ensure that every Ghanaian has the opportunity to thrive. Vote for progress. Vote for care. Vote for Bawumia. Bawumia means business. Over the past 8 years, the NPP has significantly improved support for our most vulnerable citizens. From expanding school meal programs, enrolling 300,000 more people in the LEAP initiative, enhancing health care for expectant mothers, we've strengthened the fabric of our society. But our work isn't done. We are committed to further enhancing these programs and introducing new initiatives to ensure that every Ghanaian has the opportunity to thrive. Vote for progress. Vote for care. Vote for Bawumia. Bawumia means business. Over the past 8 years, the NPP has significantly improved support for our most vulnerable citizens. From expanding school meal programs, enrolling 300,000 more people in the LEAP initiative, enhancing health care for expectant mothers, we've strengthened the fabric of our society. But our work isn't done. We are committed to further enhancing these programs and introducing new initiatives to ensure that every Ghanaian has the opportunity to thrive. Vote for progress. Vote for care. Vote for Bawumia. Bawumia means business.
Hello there, good morning. You welcome back to the show with me, Samuel Nyimabo. This is Politics Today, and on Politics Today, we'll be bringing you yet another analysis of a constituency within the Central Region. To give you what to expect in this constituency is a very high-stake constituency ahead of the December 7th election. So we're bringing you analysis of that constituency. But before we do that, today is special voting, where some special voters, numbering over 300,000, are voting across the country, across 14 constituencies, 14 regions across the country. As we know, the Electoral Commission has rescheduled the special voting for the Eastern and the Western region to December 5th, Thursday. So we'll be going to grounds to connect with our regional correspondent to give us updates as to what is happening across the 14 regions that the special voting is currently underway. We understand, per the report we are gathering in Greater Accra, that there has been some high voter turnout in the Greater Accra region here, just at the Ladade Kutopong constituency. I mean, at the prisons canteen here in the Ladade Kutopong constituency, we've noticed some high numbers in the voter turnout. So we'll be crossing over to the Ashanti region. We'll be crossing over to the Ashanti region very soon to pick up updates as to what is currently happening across the special voting centers in the Ashanti region. We know that the Ashanti region is going to be a key region in this year's election. It is the stronghold of the NPP, but the NDC are campaigning vigorously within the region. Currently, the flag bearer of the party, John Mahama, is in the Ashanti region, campaigning vigorously to try and amass a certain percentage of vote for the National Democratic Congress. They are targeting at least 35% vote in the Ashanti region. So he sent his campaign back to the Ashanti region. The NPP flag bearer as well, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is also in the Ashanti region campaigning as part of his return to the region with just 5 days to the election. So everything is keenly being contested in the Ashanti region. So we'll be taking you live to the Ashanti region to give you updates as to what is happening today, being the special voting. And I am joined by our reporter on the ground, Fatau Payaga, in the Ashanti region. Hello, Fatau. Yeah, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Right, Fatau, where you are, what can you report as it stands now with regards to the special voting?
Yes, so I am right at the Asukwa constituency where the special voting is happening, and specifically it's happening at the Asukwa police station this morning, and 415 people are expected to cast their votes here this morning at the Asukwa constituency. And as I speak with you, everything has been seamless so far. The voting commences at exactly 7 a.m. and as I speak with you, the people are moving in to cast their vote as part of this process.
Right. How is the voter turnout like? We've seen some polling stations in Greater Accra receiving some quite big numbers, even early morning, where we see a lot of the special voters troop in their numbers. How is voter turnout over there?
So here at the Asukwa constituency, I am not seeing queues here, but what I can say is that people, some of the voters are moving in individually to come and cast their vote. And at the moment, there is not any queue here. But then we understand that people moving, individually to come and then cast their vote. And the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NDC, Augustus Nana Andrews, came in here himself to monitor the process. He said that he visited 3 constituencies and everything has been good. He is expecting that a lot more people will come out in their numbers to cast their ballots. And he was saying that what they are hoping for the EC to do is to make sure that all the right things are done. The MPP representatives themselves were there, and they themselves are saying that they are hoping that the best happens, and they are appealing to the voters to come out in their numbers to participate in this particular process.
Right. Another thing that has been of concern is with regards to the ballot papers and some discrepancies that has happened over the period, for which reason the EC has even rescheduled the ballot, the special voting for Eastern and Western region. Have you noticed any issues with regards to the BVRs and any issues with regards to the ballot papers at the Asukwa polling station where you are stationed? Have you noticed anything of that kind?
So at the moment, we've been told by the EC that everything has been okay at the moment. There hasn't been any issue. We spoke with the various political parties. They say that they've not sensed or they've not seen anything untoward at the moment. But then they are hoping that the right thing is done so that it doesn't get to the point where there will be issues as to the the ballot papers and other issues. But at the moment, at the Asukwa polling station, constituency, everything has been okay. The special voters themselves are coming in their numbers. The security, there's personnel there are ensuring that nothing untoward happens. So everything at the Asukwa constituency has been seamless.
So the security is also tight over there. Is it the case?
Absolutely. I've seen, and the interesting thing is that this election is happening at the yard of the other premises of the Asukwa police station. So there are a number of police officers who have been stationed there, and in case of any issue, since the police, it is within their yard, I'm quite sure that maybe they will be able to control any form of issue when it pops up.
We know it is early days here. This is just the special voting. What has some of the polling agents of the various political parties been saying? Are they optimistic, especially with the targets both parties are looking at in the Ashanti region? Are they optimistic of their chances in the Ashanti region and by and large the Asukwa constituency?
Interestingly, the Ashanti region is one of the regions that you would have to watch keenly, because this is the region that, people say that it's even though it is seen as a stronghold of the NPP, the NDC says that they even get so much votes here, even as compared to the Volta region, so that they can describe here to as their stronghold. So the NDC is targeting 35% of the vote here. The NPP is targeting 85% of the vote here. So all the parties are raising against time to galvanize support in order to increase their votes here in the Ashanti region. So if you speak with the NPP supporters and even the leaders here, they tell you that they are going to garner so much votes because they have things to point out. They've built, completed a number of hospital projects. They've built so many roads here. In fact, they said that in the Ashanti region, they have been able to construct more than 2,000 kilometers of roads, which is unprecedented in the history of this country, right? So for that reason, they are quite convinced that the voters here would give them the 85% of the votes they are looking for. And interestingly, the running mate of the party is from this region, right? So for that reason, they are quite convinced that, you know, they are going to win this election. They also bring in the free education aspect and they say that, yes, this is going to help us win this election. But if you speak with the NDC guys, they tell you that the Ashanti region is one of the regions that they really developed so much during their tenure. Because if you look at the KTL market, Tafo market, Aswansa market, and all of that, and they say that apart from that, they have been able to initiate so many hospital projects here in the region, including the Afar military hospital, they say, even though they couldn't complete these projects, they were the party that initiated these projects and all of that. So they are quite convinced that they would garner between 32 and 35% of the votes here in the Ashanti region. So now, as we speak, yesterday the leading candidates in this particular election, John Dramani Mahama, and then the vice president himself were all here in the Ashanti region. As I speak with you, they are still here in the Ashanti region, right? The NDC held a massive walk. John Mahama took the opportunity to address thousands of supporters, saying that they have to vote for a change. They need a new government to come and continue. The vice president himself, after 15 days here in the Ashanti region, he returned. He went to the Drabin constituency, the Asante North constituency, still trying to preach his message to the voters, telling them that you really need to retain me, to retain the NPP government. You need to give me the opportunity to serve you, and you would see so much development here.
Fatal, you have been there for a while. Have you engaged any of the voters, and what have they been telling you?
So the voters themselves, they are divided. They are absolutely divided on who they would vote for, because you speak with some, they tell you that they are going for the NPP. Others tell you that they are going for the NDC, right? So it is not really clear at the moment. The picture looks blurry. You are unable to determine which party would, garner, even though it is quite clear that the NPP would, in a way, pulled more votes in
the question really is, are they happy or satisfied with the process so far in terms of the voting? Are they happy with how it has been going so far? Not really about who they are going to vote for. Are they really happy with the process, the voting process?
Okay, so I spoke with some of them, and they told me that yes, they've not encountered any issue at the moment. They got to the polling station and they went through the process, seamlessly without encountering much challenge at the moment. So the voters themselves still saying that yes, the process has been successful so far.
Right, Fatah, kindly be on the line for us. We have some. We have some bite we want to play for the benefit of our viewers to understand what is really happening across the country as part of this special voting. So Fatah, be on the line for us. We'll be right back with you.
That's so good. I consider everything is going on well. Where I won the agents position. Okay, it's not about 8 class, but I'm able to visit about 3 polling stations. That's so good. I consider everything is going on well. Where I won the agents position, we've done that. And where the booth position, we've done that. And I think it's early days. this morning, I think everything is okay. If we are going to continue this to 5, I think we may have a free and fair election. Whoever wins, whoever loses, will not complain much. Like I said, I can celebrate and everything is going on well. Oh, the way the voting is, I mean, say that maybe we can get about 75% if all things go on well, not let's say 80%. Well, you see, I've been here myself, and I've already told you that where my agent was positioned, they are not sitting agents, they are polling agents. So you have to see whatever is going on at the polling station. Then that you may see them sitting under a tree. The issue officer will tell you that everybody is sitting there, so go and sit there. I've told them that one I'm not going to allow that. They are polling agents, they are not sitting agents. So I expect them to be around where the EC is working. That's their duty. So I think the 3 polling stations that I've visited so far, they are working as the party wants.
And they need 2 regions
because now the party is very vigilant and we are serious to win power. What Ghanaians are telling us that they are going to vote for us, but we should try and protect the ballot. That's part of it. And though it's not my region, but I heard that some of the ballot papers leaked from the printing press. That's why they've called for a new printing of the ballot. So I think it's the right direction. If EC sees something that will bring chaos to the country and they are ready to solve it, hallelujah, we want that. But we have an issue in this region. The Asukwa district, the directive was that the machines must be sent to the police station by the EC officer.
Right, so that was some soundbite from Fatal in the Ashanti region, where he engaged with the NDC executives in the Asukwa constituency. Fatal, if you are still there, you were mentioning about your engagement with the NDC executive there, and he's been quite he's quite happy with the process so far. Now, the NPP side, were you able to get any of them, the executives, especially the constituency executives, and I mean the regional executives as well? Are they in the Asukwa constituency or they are not there yet?
Yeah, so at the time that I got to the constituency for the station, the NPP executives were not there at that time, right? It was only the polling agents who were there, but I spoke to them and they told me that everything was quite okay as at the time, right? So maybe for now, if I don't know whether they've come to witness or to monitor the process so far, because I am moving to another constituency to monitor the process.
Right, Fatah, thank you very much for your time, and please keep your eyes on the grounds and give us up-to-date report on what is happening in the Ashanti region, because our eyes is on the Ashanti region, because the 2 parties, as you rightly mentioned, the flag bearers of the 2 parties are all in the Ashanti region for a reason. So we have to keep our eyes on the Ashanti region as well. So kindly keep your eyes on the constituencies, the 47, and bring us up-to-date report on that, Fatal. Right, so that was our reporter, our regional correspondent, the Ashanti regional correspondent, giving us up-to-date report on what is happening in the Ashanti region. And that brings us to the now let's move away from the special voting and move our attention to the issue of constituency in focus here on ABC News Ghana, where we bring you up-to-date analysis of the various constituencies ahead of the elections. But before we even delve into the key constituency for today, let's go to the Upper West region to pick up reports on what is happening with regards to the special voting, because Upper West, as we know, is a constituency that we have to keep our eyes on, the 5 northern regions, because the 2 flag bearers, the key contenders in this year's election, are all coming from that, they are all from the northern part of the country. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is from the northeast region, whereas John Dramani Mahama is from the Savannah region. And we know that these 5 regions in the northern part of the country would be will be keenly contested between the NDC and the NPP. If you look at the trajectory of vote in the Upper West and the Upper East region, it has always gone in favor of the NDC. But this time round, maybe because of the presence of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on the ticket of the NPP, things might change. So we will be keeping our eyes on the 5 northern regions. So today we'll be going to the Upper West region to give you live update as what is happening in the constituencies in the Upper West region. The constituencies there are also keenly contested. Some of them, a constituency like Nandom constituency, where the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry is running again to contest on the ticket of the NPP, is still. It is a constituency that we must keep our eyes on, because the NPP candidate in that constituency is proven to be a tough one for Ambrose Derry. But as and when we are able to connect with our reporters, we will bring you that live update in and across the country, and we'll be going to the northern part of the country to bring you that live update. But before then, let's go back to our constituency in focus. And today on constituency in focus on politics today, we are looking at the Ewutu Senya East constituency, which is in the central region, just a few kilometers away from Greater Accra. I'm talking about people within Kaswa and its environs. So the constituency is made up of about 236,000 populace, with more females numbering about 120,000 and males numbering about 115,000 in the constituency. Now it is located within the Ewutu Senya East Municipal Assembly, occupying a land size of some 63.4 kilometers with a population density of 3,729 persons per kilometer. Now this constituency is bordered to the Ewutu Senya West constituency. It is also bordered to the Efutu constituency in the same region, even in the Gomwa. Now, in terms of district assembly, it is bordered to the Gomwa East District Assembly and the Gomwa West and South assemblies. The municipality has a literacy rate of 88% of the population, which is higher in males than in females. The district is dominated by the service sector, which contributes to some 49.4% of the employed population. It means that people within and the majority of the working class within Kaswa and the Ewutu Senya constituency are within the service industry, and that is a key demographic that we must keep our eyes on. But this constituency ahead of the 2024 elections is one that everyone will want to keep their eyes on, for which region ABC News Ghana is also keeping our eyes on it, because this constituency is keenly contested between the NPP and the NDC. The constituency was divided into the Ewutu Senya East and the Ewutu Senya West constituency leading into the 2012 election. Originally, it was just Ewutu Senya constituency, but leading into that 2012 election, there was a split where they had the Ewutu Senya East and the Ewutu Senya West constituency. Now, it has been held by the NPP candidate for this year's election, which is Mavis Hawakunsin, she's facing a very stiff contest from Phyllis Nakoyo of the NDC in this year's election. These two faced off each other in the 2020 elections, and Mavis Hawakunsin emerged victorious in that 2020 elections. But as just 5 days to the December polls in these 2024 elections, the contest is proving to be a keenly contested one, and Mavis Hawakunsin might have a lot to do if she wants to retain that seat, because the NDC candidate Phyllis Nakoyo is proven to be a very tough candidate in this year's elections. She is already doing a lot in the constituency, and there seems to be an apathy towards Mavis Hawakunsin. She is the current Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture in the country. So let's look at what the dynamics has been since 2012, because this constituency was created in 2012. Since 2012, what has the dynamics been? This is how it has shaped up in the constituency, in the Ewutu Senya East constituency. If you look at the presidential trend in the results, or the trend in the presidential results, you would see that the NPP have had a very smooth run in the 3 elections that this constituency has held. In 2012, the NPP won by some 51.40% of the vote and won again by 56.90% of the vote. And in that 2020 elections, where the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, got his second term for the country, won in that constituency, in the Wutu Senya East constituency, by 52.26%. You will realize that it is not, it is a safe zone for the NPP, but they don't win by a big margin, because the NDC are also very strong in the Wutu Senya East constituency. You see, the NDC had 47.60% in the 2012 elections, but however dropped to 42.30% in the 2016 elections. And saw an upward adjustment in the 2020 elections, where they garnered 46.68% of the vote in the 2020 elections. And this has been how the presidential result has shaped up. This has been how the presidential result has shaped up in the constituency. Like I mentioned earlier, this constituency started voting, the Wutu Senya East constituency started voting in 2012. Before the elections, it was split. It was Wutu Senya. It was just Wutu Senya constituency, and it was split into the east and the west. And today, our attention is on the west, and the east rather. And the east started in 2012, and as you see there, the NPP has won 3 times. In all the 3 times this constituency has gone to the ballot, they have come out victorious. But just that, the difference hasn't been huge, apart from that 2016 election when they had 56.90%. And this is how the elections have shaped up in the Wutu Senya East constituency. Now let's keep our focus on the parliamentary elections, because that is where the attention mainly is, because the 2 candidates in this year's elections faced off each other in the 2020 elections, and Mavis Hawakunsin came out victorious in that 2020 ballot. Will she do that in these 2024 elections? We just have 5 days to the elections. Things are shaping up in the constituency, and it will prove it might be tough for her this time round. People are predicting that she will be unseated. Others say that she will win, but with a slim margin than she did in the 2020 elections. Some NDC affiliated people, some NDC supporters are very confident of their chances in the constituency. If you look at the 2012 parliamentary result, Mavis Hawakunsin won by 52.50% in the constituency. That increased her margin to 58.10% in the 2016 elections. And in 2020, she saw a drop in her percentage, because Felix Nakoyo was there for the NDC. So there was a drop in her percentage, where she had 52.55% of the vote. But that was still enough for her to win that 2020 ballot. NDC, on the other hand, in 2012 lost, getting 45.50%. In 2012, they lost again with the lowest percentage they've had in the constituency, 40.90% in that 2012 elections. Then in 2020, Felix Nakoyo came in to win by some 47, to lose, I beg your pardon, by some 47.45%. But you realize that she did very well, because that was her first time contesting in the constituency, and she garnered 47.45% of the vote. That was a margin. That was a big result for her in the constituency. So you realize that the trend has been that Mavis Hawakunsin has won in this constituency all the 3 elections, 2012, 16 and 2020. But you realize that that 2020 was a slim win for her in the constituency, because of the presence of Felix Nakoyo in the Wutu Senya East constituency. And these two are facing off each other again in the 2024 region, in the 2024 elections as well. But we will get to understand how the constituency is likely to shape up in ahead of the December 7th elections. But let's move away from the constituency a bit and go to the grounds once again to touch base in the Sisala West constituency of the Upper West region in as part of our coverage of special voting happening currently underway in the currently underway in the country. You are welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Hello, Amadou. You are welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mubarak. What can you report? What can you report from the Sisala West constituency?
All right. Thank you very much, and thank you to all listeners of this show this morning. We thank God Almighty for letting us, in fact, favoring us this daylight today, Monday. Yes, Sisala West in the Upper West region, Ghana, here where we share border directly with the Burkina Faso. The special voting is going on, unlike all other places in Ghana except the other two exceptional regions that we had. EC is undertaking other staff. Yes, Sisala West in the special voting, we have a total number of special voters, 108, and the total voter population of the constituency is 42,934. And as at 8:40 a.m. this morning, 16 people had cast their vote for the special voting.
Hello, Mubarak.
Yes, please.
Take that number again. You said as at the time you got there, how many people had cast their vote, and how many people are expected to cast their vote for the benefit of our viewers? Take that number for us again.
All right. Yes, and I said the total voter population of the constituency is 42,934. Right. And the special voting total or expected voters for the special voting today is 118.
Okay.
And the constituency polling stations are 103.
All right.
And as at 8:40 a.m. this morning, special voting, 16 people had cast their votes.
Okay. So it means that there is just one special voting center in the constituency.
Exactly. This EC office directly is the special voting center.
All right.
Right.
So
this is
beyond the 16. Did you see any form of enthusiasm from the voters? 16 voted as at 8 a.m. Is that showing a bit of high vote turnout, or it is showing low voter turnout, or it was issues with the the voting procedure that led to that small value in the number of voters that have cast their vote as at 8 a.m.?
Yes. You know, Sisala West, in fact, the special voting, we're expecting the security to be more, because the constituency has only one radio station, that is Golu FM, located in the district capital. And most of the security personnel, we expecting them, some are very far from the district capital. Imagine someone at Fielmo is one of the political zone, Fielmo zone. It's far from, it will take you more than an hour, 30 minutes to get to the district capital from that place. And they have police personnel stationed there. Some are at Zini, which is also one of the political zones, Zini zone. And then some police are also stationed at Jeffisi, which is also one of the political zone, Jeffisi zone. And from Golu to Jeffisi will take you about 40 minutes of a ride before you can get there. So this special voting, actually, we're expecting many or more of the security personnel to be doing the special voting. Though myself this morning, I've also exercised my constitutional right by also voting. And my colleagues, media persons, I know more than 4 of them have voted, and the media had submitted only 7 members from its outfit. And so, obviously, many of these people are expected to be the security.
Right. So it is saying what you are saying is that per the numbers that the constituency holds, just 118 special voters, 16 that had voted by 8 a.m. It's in like it is at par with each other, and it's not a case of low voter turnout. Do you see other people coming in, other security personnel coming in to vote? Were there queues, or there were no queues at all? The place was a bit empty.
There were no queues at all. The people actually witnessed them voting. I personally did not see a police or security officer on a queue. I walked there and went ahead and checked my details. They went me picked my fingerprint. Then I proceeded and voted the presidential, proceeded to the parliamentary. And after I voted, I met the regional information director, Mr. Sunto Nuhu. He was also coming there with the district NCCE director, Mr. Mustafa Idrisu. So I approached them and asked whether they are coming to observe or they are here to vote. Yes, they told me they are here to vote, especially the regional information director said he is here to vote because he's part of a special task force for this voting on the 7th, and he cannot move away from his jurisdiction. And so he's here today to vote and go back. And so for the security, we don't see them in a queue, but there are many security there. I must tell you, I saw with the small location, I saw not less than 5 security personnel, police officers stationed there, but I don't see them on a queue trying to vote or something.
Would you say that it's because of the distance? You've described the distance where some of them are stationed, that it's because of the distance from the police station that has restricted some of these security personnel to come and cast their ballots?
Yes, but I'm sure it is too early. I'm sure they will come because, as I said, it will take you an hour, 40 minutes, almost 2 hours to get to the district capital. That is where the police station is, one police station. And so I'm sure it is too early. Maybe after noon, we will be checking on them again. The police, I also saw the party agents, and unfortunately, I didn't see the other party agents except the 3 political parties that had filed candidates for the parliamentary. The NPP agents, 2 people were there. The NDC agents, 2 people were there. PNC also had 2 agents, but I didn't see any other party agents from the other political parties. This is the other thing I observed there.
All right, Mubarak, thank you for your report there, and kindly put your eyes on the ground and gather as much as information as you can and report to us here on ABC News Ghana. And that's our reporter on the grounds in the Upper West region, Mubarak Amadou, giving us a report from the Sisala West constituency. Like I mentioned, the 5 constituencies in the north are our key concern in this year's elections. And if you need any report from there, you need to go nowhere else than ABC News Ghana. Let's continue on our. Let's continue with our coverage of the special voting, and today we'll be crossing over to the Klotekole constituency of the Greater Accra region. My colleague Andy Opong-Deche is at the Osu polling station, and we'll be crossing over soon to get a report as to what is happening over there. We understand that the key contenders in that constituency, you remember I brought to you the analysis of the Klotekole constituency, and it was the contest primarily is between Zaneto Ajman Rollins and Ninoy Valentino, and we understand that the 2 contenders are at the Osu police station monitoring the situation keenly because they have about 615 voters to cast their votes at that polling station. So the 2 key contenders are at the polling station, the Osu polling station. There are 2 voting centers at that polling station where they are casting their ballot, and very soon we'll be crossing over to the grounds to pick update as to what is happening there. So this still remains poll center, our special coverage of the special voting. currently underway across 14 regions of the country. And let's get back to our constituency analysis, where we'll be going back to the constituency analysis to pick updates, where to understand the Ewutu Senya East constituency. And as we're doing with the parliamentary result, you realize that the NPP has had a smooth run in the 3 elections in this constituency, whereas the NPP have won thrice in the constituency. The NDC, on the other hand, has lost in those 3 elections. But this 2024 elections is proven to be killing contested between the National Democratic Congress candidate Phyllis Koyo and the NPP's candidate Mavis Hawakunsin. Now let's look at the vote differences between the contenders from the 2012 elections. In 2012, Mavis Hawakunsin faced off competition with Adams Nuhu Timbili, and Adams Nuhu Timbili lost in the elections, where he garnered just 45.45% of the vote, some 26,884 votes in that 2012 elections. Mavis Hawakunsin, first time contesting on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party in the Ewutu Senya East constituency, won that elections by 31,054 votes she garnered in that elections, winning by a difference of 4,170 votes in that 2012 elections. Keep your eyes on that vote difference, 4,170 votes in that 2012 elections. Let's quickly look at the 2016, the difference as well in that 2016 election, because the 2016 elections is where the NPP had their biggest win in that constituency, in the Ewutu Senya East constituency. In 2016, as you see there, the difference was 10,283 votes in Mavis Hawakunsin and Adams Nuhu Timbili again on the tickets of the NDC. Adams saw a drop in his vote in that 2016 elections. Let's quickly look at the 2020 elections in the Ewutu Senya East 2020. In the 2020 elections, and this is where the focus would be, because these two were on the ticket from 2020 and they will be on the ticket again in 2024. Now you have Mavis Hawakunsin with garnering some 52.55% of the vote in the 2020 elections, where Phyllis Koyo of the NDC garnered 47.47% of the vote. Now, the difference in that 2020 elections was 5,553 votes. Will Mavis Hawakunsin maintain this gap, or the gap will increase, or it will come down, or she would not be able to win the elections again in the constituency? So this is what happened in 2020. Shortly, we'll be bringing you what you can expect in the 2024 elections. But before that, let's cross over to the grounds again. Now, still in the northern part of the country, because that is where our focus is. We'll be crossing over to the Upper East region, and we have Bashiru, our regional correspondent in the Upper East region. Bashiru, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you, and welcome. And I'm greeting all the listeners of ABN News. But point of correction, I'm reporting from Upper West, not Upper East.
Right. Sorry, Bashiru, from the Upper West region once again. Now, Bashiru, where you are, what can you report to us and our viewers, especially with the special voting in the Upper West region? What is currently happening at where you are?
Okay. Thank you again for the opportunity. As I'm speaking, I'm currently located at the Tumu Police Station Polling Center, which happens to be the polling center the people, the special voters for each municipality or constituency are casting their votes. And by 5:30, I was at the grounds. By 5:30, I've already seen the electoral commission official. The returning officer was there, and some of his electoral officials were there at 5:30 a.m. at the grounds. By 6, they have set up all their things and they were about to take off, just waiting for the time to come. By 7 a.m., the National Security Officer for the area casted his vote. Then the Electoral Commissioner casted his vote. Then they went into the line and people also started voting. And at this polling center, we are expecting about 469 special voters to cast their votes today at the polling station there. So as at 9:30 a.m. today, a total of 136 people have casted their vote at the polling station. And as you speak, there are no queues. The line is very empty. I don't know why people are not coming, but it still means that a majority of them are yet to cast their votes. But you can see that if we check around the polling station area, a lot of the political party supporters are there. I can see the MPP MP himself was there Saturday morning around 7 a.m. They were starting. He was there with his guys. But now, as at 9:30, he has left the ground, but his guys are still there. The NDC representatives and agents, they are also there. Everything is smooth. We have not recorded any issue at the polling station. All the electoral materials arrive at the right time, and voting is going on smoothly, and everybody is happy about the process so far. And as I speak, they are doing the voting at the police station itself. So, you know, when it comes to security, the security men are all over that place. So I'm not sure we are going to encounter any bad issue or anything at that polling station there.
Right, Bashiru, beside the issue of security, you said that the NPP candidate was at the police station. When he was there, what was the sense that you picked up from him? Was he happy with the procedure so far? Or was he also optimistic of his chances in this year's election?
Yes, actually, I wanted to engage him on camera, but he declined and said he was busy and doing other things, but he said he was okay with the process so far. He was only just making sure that he have a contact with somebody before they go and cast their vote. So when he was standing, it was very strategic. You could see that before you could pass and go and join the line, your eyes should have set on the candidate. So I'm sure he was standing there very strategically. And I could see smiles around him. His boys were very happy, greeting and still calling people. Some of his guys are there with the album. They are calling people to come and cast their votes. And they are so happy. If you cross to the other side, the NDC side too, there are people too are there. I was not able to speak to all of them, but from where they were also standing, I also saw them talking to some few voters before they would go and vote, and I could see that they've not also recorded any issue. If they had recorded any issue, they would have prompted us to deal about it. So I'm sure the two political parties are all happy about the process so far.
We know the Sisala East constituency is one that is keenly contested. Now, the current Deputy Sanitation Minister, Chinia, is the NPP, and he's the MP for the area. Yes. From where you are standing and from the monitorings you have monitored in the constituency, what are his chances in this year's election? Where do you see his chances so far?
Okay, that's a very good question, but I'm not sure I'll be able to get a straightforward answer. But I can see that he's on the ground. He's going around visiting communities, meeting groups, meeting women, meeting people living with disability, giving them his manifesto, telling them what he would do. And he's also very vigorous about telling them his record in the past 4 years, telling them what he has done. He's constructed boreholes. One of his messages is that there's no community in the Sisala that he has not left a mark. If not a borehole, a school, a chip compound, or something he have done in the community. So he's seriously talking about his record and also telling them about what he will come and tell them. So if you look at the Sisala East seat, it's a very swing seat that nobody can knock the chest and say, I'm going to win it. Looking at it from its creation from 2004 to 2020, no candidate has been able to win it 2 times. So if the Deputy Minister of Sanitation wins this seat, it means that's history he has said like that, because no MP have been able to win it 2 times. Once you can 1 time, you are kicked out. Another person can. You are kicked out. Another person can. From 2004 to date. So as we speak now, it's very close to call. It can go either way.
Right. Now let's turn attention to the voters themselves. You mentioned that about 100 and something of them have cast their ballot. What are the voters saying? Are they also happy with the process? Bashiru. All right, we've lost our reporter Bashiru there. Now, before we move away, let's take a listen to the regional minister, the Upper West regional minister. Let's take a listen to the regional minister. Let's take a listen to the Greater Accra Regional Minister. But before we even get to listen to the Greater Accra Regional Minister, let's cross over to another correspondent on the grounds to give us a report as to what is happening in the Greater Accra region. Let's cross over to Sedi Michelle in Shedi Hloji at the Michelle camp here in the Greater Accra region to give us updates as to what is happening in the constituency there. Hello Sedi, you are welcome to the show.
Hello,
Sedi, good morning. Right, you are welcome to ABC News Ghana. Now, what can you report on Michelle Camp, where you are currently monitoring the special voting proceedings there?
Yeah, good morning to your viewers and your listeners. I'm at Michelle Camp Garrison School. As at now, everything here is ongoing smoothly. There's no disturbances. And as at 8 a.m., we had people coming in to vote. And at this place, the number of special voters are 483. And as at 8 a.m., 63 people came out to vote. And voting is still ongoing.
What personalities have you seen at the voting center from both the political divide, the NPP and the NDC? What were some of the personalities you've seen so far come to monitor the proceedings there?
Right. So far, the NDC regional chairman, Honorable Emmanuel Ashimo, was here, and he came to do a bit of the monitoring and spoke to the media and the service personnel and the polling agents here as well. He came with the MP for Punkatamanso, who is Joe T, that's Joe Tete, was around with them. They came around to do the monitoring, and he had a word with us as well. And he spoke about how smooth the voting is going on at this center.
So the NDC candidates and the regional minister are happy. The regional chairman, I beg your pardon, are happy with the procedure so far.
Yeah, so far, both the MP and the regional chairman are very happy with what is going on at the Garrison School here at Michelle Camp, the Punkatamanso constituency.
Right, Sedi, please stay on the line for us. Let's play the bite of the Greater Accra NDC regional chairman to the benefit of our viewers and what he has to say about the procedure so far.
Women are also at post. For what I've seen, we've done 10 constituencies so far. For what I've seen, apart from Adan, that voting didn't start early. Everything is under control. The security men and women are at the polling stations voting. It's one of the peaceful elections that I've witnessed in Greater Accra. And signals that I'm seeing, that I've seen that after this voting, if for nothing at all, if you ask me to do a pre-counting, I'm looking at between 50 to 60% of the vote. You can see for the faces of the security men and women that they are really tired, they are suffering, they are also feeling the hardship. So I know that this special voting, this is my region. What I can say from my region is that I'm sure that we are getting the majority of it. I could see that they are voting because all the places that I've gone, I can see our PCs, our MPs, they've left everything they are doing. They are at the place to support the system. That is sort of a motivation that the MPs are ever ready to be re-elected. The PCs are ready also to add up to 25 seats that we have working. So in all, I'm very pleased with the process. I'm very pleased with the party executives, the directors, the constituency secretaries and all those things. I'm very pleased. This is a signal to victory, and I know that this will be replicated 7th December in the victory place. This is a signal. The directors, the constituency secretaries and all those things. I'm very pleased. This is a signal to the executives, the directors,
Right, so that was the Greater Accra NDC regional chairman for the Greater Accra region. Sedi, thank you for your time, and I hope you continue to be on the grounds and monitor the situations and proceedings at the Michelle Camp in the Punkatamanso constituency.
Yeah, I'll revert back.
Right, that is our correspondent in the Greater Accra region, Sedi Hloji, giving us a report from the Michelle Camp. And because of our time, we'll have to say goodbye to ABC in the morning today. But before I take leave of you, let's remind you that we have the Economic Symposium up next, and keep your dial on ABC News Ghana, and keep your dial here because we'll be bringing you all the up-to-date report of the special voting across the country. And from 12 p.m. we'll be bringing you our midday news. At 4 to 5 p.m. we'll be bringing you Constituency in Focus, and you can stay as well for the 6 p.m. news on ABC News Ghana. We have a lot of things for you this morning. We have a lot of things for you this morning. We'll be bringing you all the updates. Right, so before we even take leave of you, let's quickly get you another report from the grounds to understand what is really happening across the country before we take leave of you. Even though we don't have much time, let's to give you updates of what is happening across the constituencies across the country. We know that a special voting is happening in 14 regions across the country, and we are trying to connect with our correspondents across these 14 regions to bring you an understanding of what is really happening and whether they are recording issues with voter materials or the process has been smooth so far. So far, we've heard from the Upper West region in Sisala East and Sisala West, and the process has been smooth in those two constituencies. And we've heard also from the Michelle Camp here in Greater Accra in the Pone Kantamanso constituency as well, where the process has equally been smooth as well. So we want to bring you another update in this year's special voting as we build up to the main election proper, which is on December 7th. We'll be bringing you up-to-date report on this special voting to gather your momentum and the momentum of the country ahead of the December 7th polls. And we are trying as much as we can to connect with our regional correspondent across the country to bring you this update. We would in a short while be connecting with our correspondent across the country to bring you this update. I am joined on the line by another correspondent from the Upper West region. We are joined by the line from the Upper West region as well. Robert Dimbe, you are welcome to the show this morning. Right, sorry, Andy. That is our reporter on the grounds here in Greater Accra. Remember, I told you we'll be crossing to the Osu, to the Klotikoli constituency. I mean, in Osu, where voting is currently underway, and our reporter Andy Opondenche is at the Osu police station to give us updates. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Sammy.
Right, Andy, you at Osu. What can you report for us at the Osu polling station?
Yes, so Sammy, I am the Klotikoli constituency at the Osu polling station, and here at the polling station we have two centers here. We have A and B, and the A center, 615 voters are expected to vote, and as of the time I got here at 9, 180 people have voted so far, and people are still voting. And the Center B, 614 people are expected to vote. And with that, too, after the time I got here at 9, 150 plus have voted so far, and it's still going. But comparing here, there was two polling stations to the prisons and canteen station where we have long queues there. Here, the time I got here around 9, there wasn't any long queue, and anytime the voters or the electorate join the line, they cast their vote and then they move out. But just a few minutes ago, like 20 minutes ago, the queue started prolonging, if I may put it that way. Too long though, but compared to the time I got here, that we were having about 10 in a line that was moving. Currently, you could see 15, 17 in a line, but still the line is still moving. So when they join, they cast their votes and they move. And I would also report that the security service here, the police is heavily represented here, and the voting is peacefully. I interacted with the candidate from the New Patriotic Party, that's Ninoy, and he made mention that he commends the EC for making the special voting here at the Osu polling station peaceful, and he's calling the same for the 7th December, that's some few days ago, as we head to the polls and also vote. And he's hoping that the election on the 7th of December will be peaceful as today's own. So that's what I can report so far.
Andy, kindly stay on the line for us. You just mentioned that you spoke with Valentino Ninoy, and we want to bring our viewers that bite of your interview with Valentino Ninoy to really understand what he was trying to put out there. So let's quickly bring you that bite, and we'll come back to you, Andy.
Let's go.
So far, I'll say this is going well. I'll rate the EC of 100%. There's been no incidents. Even before this, all the processes leading to this have been very good. EC has done well. We've not seen any issues or any issues to bring down. Everything has been transparent. I'm looking forward to December 7th. That the process will go smoothly like today. We'll have a peaceful election. I just advise everybody to come out in their numbers and vote to determine who becomes MP and president in the constituency, and also to vote peacefully. Let's not indulge in any activities that will mar the peace we are enjoying in this constituency. We are all brothers and sisters.
Hello, Andy. If you are still there now, you engaged Valentino Ninoy. Did you cite Zaneto Ajman Rawlings? We know she's also contesting for the NPP. She's the current MP for the area. Did you cite her as well at the police stations?
Yes. So if you can also hear me, Zanetta Rawlings is here. Ninoy is also here. As we just played this bite based on what he said. Zanetta is here, but engaging Zanetta to speak, the Zaneta's God, if I may put it, didn't give me the audience to speak with him. He asked me to hold on. So I've not really engaged Zanetta, but he's also here with people, making sure that the electorate in this constituency also votes. And so if willing to be able to get a seat again. So Zanetta is here, but I've not really engaged her yet.
But beside the confidence that Ninoy has expressed in the EC and all of that, do you see any other thing that the NDC, from the NDC side, do you see them also express same sentiment? Are they happy with the procedure, so the proceedings so far?
Yes, both candidates are in high spirits this morning, standing at two different vantage points where they are really hoping that they get a seat. So Ninoy is hoping that he gain the seat. Zanetta is also standing at the extreme left under a canopy where people are with her, and also I must say she's excited about the way things are going, and hoping once again that to gain the seat.
Right, Andy, thank you very much for that report from the Clotte-Collie constituency of the Greater Accra region, and that is our reporter on the grounds to that gave us a report on what is happening over there, where the two key contenders in this year's election, Valentino Ninoy and Zaneto Ajman Rawlings, are all stationed at the police station, monitoring proceedings with keen eyes, trying as much as possible to win the seat for their parties. Now, Zaneto wants to retain the seat for the third time for the National Democratic Congress, whereas Valentino Ninoy wants to snatch the seat away from the NDC. And that is our reporter from the Clotte-Collie constituency, Andy Opondichi, giving us the report there. We are trying as much as possible to also connect to other reporters on the grounds before we take leave of you. We know today we are giving you an extended version of ABC in the morning. Normally we would have closed by this time, but we want to monitor the proceedings across the country because the elections is here and the special voting is here, and you won't need any report elsewhere other than ABC News Ghana. So we want to bring you up-to-date report to understand what is happening across the country, whether the parties are confident in their chances and whether they are happy with the proceedings so far, whether the EC is making up for the mistakes that have characterized the electoral process so far, and whether we can repose confidence in them. And we'll be trying as much as possible to connect with our reporters across the country. And this still remains your Election Poll Center here with ABC News Ghana, where we bring you in-depth analysis, up-to-date report, and factual happenings across the country, undiluted, for your hearings and your hearings only. So tell your friends and tell your colleagues, your families, that they can tune into ABC News Ghana as we bring you the elections report, all that is happening. Now, in this year's election, there are going to be 276 constituencies because of the addition of SAL, which previously didn't vote in the 2020 election. Now we have 276 constituencies across the country, and you can trust ABC News Ghana to have our eyes across all these constituencies to bring you up-to-date report as to what is happening, and we'll try and connect with all our reporters on the grounds to give you this update. Now, all the 276 constituencies are all be keenly contested at the presidential and the parliamentary levels, because the parties, the NDC and the NPP, don't want any hung parliament again. So they want a big majority in this year's election, especially as they head into that 9th parliament. We know what has characterized the 8th parliament, and no party wants any hung parliament or even a slim majority. They all are canvassing for a big majority in this year's elections. We know that polls have already been predicted from polls from the Global Info Analytics have predicted the NDC to win by a huge majority in this year's parliamentary result. Other polls are predicting the NPP to win. Some are even predicting a runoff in the presidential elections. ABC News Ghana will be here to bring you all the happenings and give you that result that you will need by the end of December 7th, be it 7th, 8th, or 9th, should the EC declare the result. And we will know the standings of these parties and put into perspectives whether the predictions of these pollsters, from the Global Info Analytics polls to the Professor Smart Sapong polls to other polls that have happened over the years. ABC News Ghana will be bringing you all the election results to put into perspective these polls. But you can trust us that as we build up to the elections, we'll be diving through all the things that has happened in these 2024 elections, bringing you analysis way back from 2012, where the NDC candidate, as we have so far, John Dramani Mahama, was on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress, where the NDC was on the John Mahama was on the ticket for the NDC. We would pick from 2012, 2016, the 2020 elections to give you in-depth analysis of all the 3 past elections, because we want you to understand what really will happen in the 2024 elections, and how better to do that than to give you a historic analysis of the elections. So ABC News Ghana will bring you that in-depth analysis as we build up to the elections. And trust us that on Friday, the eve to the elections, we will bring you that in-depth analysis. So keep your eyes here on ABC News Ghana. But before we take leave of you, finally, let's go back to the constituency in focus, and so focus on the Ewutu Senya East constituency, because this election, like I mentioned, is keenly contested. Now, Ewutu Senya is a volatile area as well. There have been traces of violence in this constituency. In the 2020 elections, we saw violence erupt in some of the police stations, and even 2 days ago, the NDC have requested additional security measures in the constituency because they are sensing that violence may occur in the 2024 elections. So it's a bit of a volatile constituency. And Mavis Howard Kunsin will be facing off once again with Phyllis Nakoyo, and the question is, who wins? Is it Mavis get to retain the seat for the 4th term for the NPP, or Phyllis Nakoyo will do history for the National Democratic Congress by winning it for the first time in the constituency? Now, the NPP has maintained a strong presence in the constituency, winning in both parliamentary and presidential elections, as we brought to you. However, pundits and observers have already said that this year's elections would be clearly contested. Observers, pundits have observed that the impressive performance of Phyllis Nakoyo in that 2020 elections is one that the NPP should be worried about, because it was her first time, and as a first timer, she got about 47% of the vote. So the NPP should be worried in this year's election, especially with what she's doing on grounds in the constituency. She is known for her mobilization skills. She's been able to mobilize the youth in the constituency, mobilize the supporters of the National Democratic Congress over the period, and she's in the strong position to snatch the seat away from Mavis Howcross. But we know what Mavis represents in that constituency. She's somebody that they respect, the people like her, and this year's election will go through the wire, and that's how the constituency is likely to shape up ahead of the elections. Now let's cross over to the Upper West region, where we have Robert Digby in the Upper West region. Robert, you're welcome to the show.
Thanks so much.
Right, Robert, we've been through the Upper West region. We've interacted with two other reporters there. Now, where are you stationed, and what can you report for more in the Upper West region for us?
Yes, I'm currently at the Wasek Youth Court, where they have the polling center. It's been split into two polling stations, Station A and Station B, and each has 483, and the other has 484 expected people to come and vote, cast their vote this very morning. But the place has been calm, very peaceful. Everything is going on smoothly, as I was here earlier and sent some footage. I don't know if it's being displayed at the moment, but
yes, we are seeing the videos. As you are speaking.
Everything is orderly here, and it's very calm. And we have the party agents also here, very active, monitoring what is going on here. Earlier, the EC director spoke to us and gave his assurance that they were really poised for this exercise, and they don't expect any hinges. When we asked about if we should, they are likely to have any reprinting of ballots, interestingly, he said no, they have gone through everything, and they don't think anything of that sort will happen from the region. So we are just still at the base, monitoring what is going on. We have the security personnel, the media, and other interested organizations who have registered for this special voting, casting their votes here this very moment.
How has the voter turnout been? You've mentioned that about there are two polling stations at that center. How has the voter turnout been so far? How many people have cast their votes?
The turnout has been very great. The lines are still on course. You can count not less than 20 people on each queue. And at the time before I spoke to you, we had about 102 people casting their votes at that time. So I'm sure it's likely to speed up. They may probably even cast voting earlier ahead of the time, as we have 483 and 484 at the other side. So it's just going on smoothly. People are still on the queue, casting their votes from here. They are checking, and so far I haven't seen them reject anyone or raise any issues with regards to any of them coming to cast the vote.
Right. Robert, have you cited any of the parties, especially the parliamentary candidates in the contest? Have you cited any of them, or the constituency executives at the polling station?
No, it's just the polling agents. But earlier we had the NDC elections director who came here briefly and left. I didn't know what exactly he came to do, but he was around and left. But their agents are actually here monitoring the whole process.
And from the NPP side, you've not cited anyone at all?
No, it's just the agent that is here yet.
But kindly give us an understanding of what really is expected in the constituency, especially in the West constituency, the parliamentary contest. What is happening on grounds?
Yeah, parliamentary, it's just going to be a much easier instance for the member of parliament, who is Honorable Hassan Rashid Pelpo, from as compared to the last election where he was really under pressure. But this time around, it's like his party has formed a stronger alliance. And when you look at the campaigns, whereby he has 4 teams doing his campaigns, and the other candidate, who happens to be a woman already, being a woman from this constituency, it's not going to be an easy thing to walk over a man contesting in elections, though his party would have fronted her. That card, as a matter of fact, that gender thing, I don't know how that jinx will be broken, but it's been manifested over the time that the Wa Central probably will be a bit challenging for any woman that will contest. Else, the last election, the NPP candidate, Honorable Haja Umu Audu, did a lot than she did this time around. At the last election, she doled out a lot of goodies, but it didn't materialize into winning. But this time around, it hasn't been same. And though she hasn't taken a back seat, she's fronting and doing all, but is becoming clearer and clearer by day that it's not going to be an easy thing for her. But the member of parliament who happens to marshal his party, people who probably were not with him in the last election, 2020. There were some differences, and the margin was over 5,000. This time around, it's expected that this margin is going to open up more as the party seems to have fronted with a much stronger head at the moment. When you go to the Wa West, like you were asking about, where Honorable Lanchere Tubu is the member of parliament, there I don't see the member of the MPP making any moves there. Honorable James, who happens to be the candidate for the NPP, there too, his campaign is not as visible as we are seeing that of Honorable Lanchere Tubu in the Wa West constituency. And this is the constituency that he won with a very wider margin. And coming into the primaries, he swept through the delegates. And surprisingly, the votes he had going into the 2020 elections was overwhelming at the party primaries. And this time around, it was worse. The vote was more, let me put it that way, the vote was rather more than expected. So this time around, is from all indicators in the Wa West constituency, it's very obvious the member of parliament, Honorable Peter Lanchere Tubu, is likely to retain the seat. And here in the region, it's cuts across. And Nandom, where Ambrose Dere is the member of parliament, it's seen that he's probably likely to have an easy walk. But at the tail end, since last week till now, the dynamic seems to be changing there for him, as some fallouts within the party is beginning to campaign against him. And it's not been easy for him. As at Friday, Saturday, I was in Nandom, to be precise, and the information I was picking on the grounds shows that he has a lot of work to do, as the differences is getting wider and wider. Even though people will tell you that the NDC candidate is not vibrant, he's not who they expect, but they prefer that they just don't give that mandate to Ambrose for reasons I just cannot tell. But that difference is getting wider and wider, and I think perhaps Honorable Ambrose would have noticed some of these things and will probably quickly make amends to consolidate his stance as far as that seat is concerned.
Right. Robert, I understand you have a very good understanding of the dynamics in the Upper West region. And today on Constituency in Focus, we'll be going to the Upper West region. So where we'll get to talk in depth, we'll get into the details of what is really happening in the in the Upper West region. Robert, thank you for your time today on ABC in the morning. Now, before we take leave of you, who you engage somebody, who you engage one of the voters or somebody at the police station. Who did you engage?
It was the EC that we spoke to, the EC, Mr. Ali, who happens to be the regional director of the commission. He was the one we spoke to, who assured us all is calm, all is well. They don't have any issues with regards to today's special voting. So he was the only one we actually spoke to.
All right, Robert, thank you for your time this morning. We'll come back to you later in the evening when we do Constituency in Focus. And that's our reporter on the grounds from the Upper West region, Robert Dingbe, giving us an understanding of what is happening in the Upper West region from what he's monitoring, what he's telling us. Now, Honorable Peter Tobo is likely to just get the seat in the Upper West region, as well as Rashid Purple in the West Central will also sweep the seat away in for the NDC this time around again. Now, let's take a listen to that interview that Robert had with the election officer at the West constituency.
Yes, but in one municipal we have 968 voters who are going to cast their votes. And they are in 2 stations here. So we have 2 centers in one center. When we started, at least about some 10 people have voted, as of now. The voting is still ongoing.
So what lessons do you have for people who are expected to come and cast their vote?
Yes, the security personnel, the media, and our election officials, we are entreating them to come out in their numbers to come and vote.
Any challenges?
The polling stations we have across the numbers.
Yeah, we have. For West Central, I'm saying that we have 968 voters. For West West, we have 178. For West East, we have 135. For Nadelikali, we have 139. For DBI, we have 158. Jirapa, 141. Lambuse, 299. Laura, 221. Nandom, 1,279. Sisala West, 118. Sisala East, 469. And the total is 2,825. These are the voters in Upper West region.
It looks like we are having 2 polling stations for the first time in West Central. What accounts for?
No, because due to the numbers, we have a threshold where the polling station splits itself automatically into 2 when the number is more than 750. So because we have 968 voters, the center has to split into 2. That's why we are in.
Is it only in West Central or?
No, we have A and B also in Nandom because they are also 1,970. That center too has 2 centers.
Since we started, have you heard across the region any mishaps?
No, they have all started in time, and the voting was going.
Right, so that was the Upper West election officer, the returning officer for the Upper West region, giving a breakdown of the expected voters across the constituencies in the Upper West region. He's been telling the reporters and our viewers that the Upper West region is shaping up well and everything so far has been smooth in the region. And that's how we end our show today here on ABC in the morning. My colleague Abner Manti started the show with you, and I'm happy to end it with you on this tangent on ABC in the morning. Trust us to bring you up-to-date analysis of the elections as we progress to December 7th and bring you updates across the country on the special voting currently underway. We took you to the Upper East, the Upper West region, and we also took you to the Ashanti region, and even in Greater Accra we brought some updates as well. So keep your dial on ABC News Ghana as we bring you reports across the country. So you can join us on our midday bulletin at 12 p.m. to bring you updates on what is